The IPL's just finished. CB won it second time in a row, what's that, I think? But the Gujarat Titans, who they played in the final, beat Rajasthan Royals in one of the preliminary knockout things, and young Vaibhav Suryavanshi played in that match. I mean, the lad's been smashing runs left, right and centre. Could he... I think we had this conversation a while ago. I'm going to ask you again. Could he be the greatest cricketer the world's ever seen?
I think I'll give the same answer. Don't know. Potentially, from what I think what we've really only seen is a small sample size of T20. Looking at him, you're going to say, absolutely. You know, T20, he is head and shoulders. I remember at Beckenham there was one of those matches was on. I'm not sure if it was the final or one of the knockout ones, but the stats came up. This lad's played 38 or 39 innings, and across that, his strike rate is still over 240. And you know, it's just ridiculous. You know, yes, you do that for a one-off game, not for 38 games.
No,
you know, whatever it is. It's so. And watching the shots he played, first ball, bang, 6, you know. So he is creating his name incredibly in T20. And they're talking about picking, I think they have to pick him for India in the T20s. You know, doing what he's doing in the IPL, they have to pick him now for no matter what his age is. The other stuff, whether he plays, I think if they still got the Ranji Trophy, how he does in the longer format, I think is still an unknown. But if you want him to play white ball cricket, especially T20, I think there's no one touching him at the moment.
Is he a generational talent, or is he just a victim of the IPL, if you like, and what that tournament brings out in talented players?
No, looking at him, I think you'd almost have to say yes, he is. You know, he's been working at this. I think his dad took him out of school at the age of 8 or something like that.
Right.
You know, and had a coach throwing it. So it's been building up for a long time, and he's now on the platform. The other thing that impresses me, it's not just one area that he's scoring in, because teams have started bouncing him. You know, and he's been hit a couple of blows.
Yeah.
But he shakes them off, but then he'll whack the next one, and he can lift. So teams are trying to work him out, but yet here he is still striking at 240 after those 38 games. So that's a big sample size of teams, the best in the world, the best analysts in the world, the best bowlers in the world, trying to work this kid out, and they haven't yet.
Look, talent doesn't make a career. So just back to your previous point, does he, even today where T20 is T20 and it's going to rule the world and all that stuff, does he still need to play Test cricket to be considered a great? Is that still relevant nowadays?
100% it's relevant. Yeah. You know, I think he'll be a superstar in India on the back of his IPL stuff, but I think to be recognised around the world, it'll be in wearing white clothing. He'll still do what he does in his coloured stuff, but I think the traditionalists out there will want him tested because you'd argue he can't play the way he does a Test match cricket. You just put everyone out, and at some point, bigger fields, because you know there's small fields over in the IPL. The actual playing surface is tiny, and so a bit like what they said about England in the Ashes, wasn't it? It's all right on small boundaries, but you go to Australia, you're going to get caught out there. So that's probably that's the one thing with Test cricket for him. He can try and play that way, but it's bigger boundaries, and there'll be more fielders out there to catch it.
But teenage dominance can be misleading, can't it? Look at Vinod Kambli, for example. You know, fettered with Sachin Tendulkar, that record stand in Mumbai, blah, blah, blah. Obviously did play international cricket and took the rock and roll lifestyle instead. Do you think there's a danger, though, if you get fame too early, you don't reach your potential?
Possibly. You know, if you're not advised well, if the people around you...
Well, you got to listen, haven't you? I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, but who's going to tell him how to play, mate? When you watch him, who's going to go there and say, actually, you need to put that shot away? That's it'd be. It's like which one? The one I hit for six back over their head, or the one I hit for six over my? It's like
It's more
people
the
would go
off-pitch
like,
stuff,
what?
isn't it?
what yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. He'll be an absolute superstar in India. So it's then how he copes with that. How he copes not being able to go to get some downtime. If he goes to a shopping centre, I've been when I was out there touring, it's absolute pandemonium. So they basically, how well can he cope not going anywhere? That will be the test of him
yeah.
going forward, because that's probably the status he's at now, and you know, and going overseas would be his sanctuary of getting some space to himself. So it's a challenge.
There's a bunch of blokes in India who've got autographs from me, thinking I was Mark Ramprakash. Anybody can, anybody can do that. I was wearing a England tie. We'd just done some golf days for the England football squad, France 98. This must have been Euro 2000. And I was wearing one of those golf shirts. And somebody thought I was part, and England were touring at the time under NASA. And somebody thought I was part of that team. I told them I was Mark Ramprakash. Lo and behold, I signed some autographs. There again, I also went to a party once and told this lady who thought she recognised me that I was one of the Pasadenas. So there's history there. But India's attention, it can be a gift and a burden, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the gift is financially. He's set for life now. That's
Yeah,
that's that's fact. That in India, you do what he's done. He is set for life. The companies will want to attach themselves to him, and so he won't be a problem. But yeah, the burden will be the success on what he does on the field, and how he copes with it. So that's what I mean. He needs good people around him. He's still young, so you'd hope that's family
yeah.
and good advice.
I just had a look at some of who are the youngest players. Do you know who the youngest official player to play a Test cricket is still to this day? Because there's a spurious one, but we'll ignore that. Do you know who it is?
Who played young? There's someone.
Well, I'll give you the
Yeah, go
options.
on.
I'll give
Just
you the
tell me.
options. Sachin Tendulkar, Shahid Afridi, Mushtaq Mohammed, Garfield Sobers, or Waqar Younis. One of those is the youngest ever to play Test cricket. The answer is
Freely burst onto the scene
yeah, but
ridiculously when he was
here's
young.
what
So
he did. No, he was Mushtaq Mohammed. He played first-class cricket at 13 years old, scored 100 on his debut, and made his Test debut at 16 years, 205 days. Shahid Afridi was 16 years and 215 days, so 10 years, 10 days older. But there was some doubt about his actual age, and then he released an autobiography and said he was actually 21 when he played. Gary Sobers was 16, Waqar Younis was 16, making their first class debut. Scored a century on his international debut. Sachin was
don't know,
15
mate.
years.
You're telling the story.
15 years. I can't even read my notes. 15 years and 224 days when he made his Test debut. So there you go. Lots of them. But the youngest ever is Naomi Varney at PNG in the T20I World Cup in 2019. You'd finished by then playing at PNG, hadn't you? She was 12 years and
Yeah.
171 days. She's only 19 now. And
Wow.
she's played international
Good on your
cricket at the age of
PNG.
12.
That's a youth policy and a half.
That is a youth policy and a half. So you said it earlier. Can you coach? Can he? All right. So T20 cricket, you wouldn't bother coaching him. I mean, what can you teach him? But does he need to be coached as to how to play Test cricket or longer form cricket?
Well,
Let him go.
I don't know. Well, I suppose he'd need some guidance on structuring an innings, and if you're wanting longer form innings. But I don't know. Has he played much Ranji Trophy stuff? Have
I
they?
don't think so. No, I
Is
think this
he?
is it, isn't it? I think it's that
Yeah.
It
So
came
that's the
prominence
thing.
in the under-19 World Cup, didn't they? Or
Yeah,
and then
he scored
yeah,
an incredible 170 against England in the
Yeah,
final, I think, and
yeah,
ruined that
that's right.
final. But I don't know if he has played much first class cricket, and until he does, till you see his methodology, because that's the thing, you've got to use your eyes and see how's this how's this person playing, how's this batter playing, and then you start to go, okay, well, technique wise, where are they, and then mentally wise, what decision making they're doing, and there's not a huge amount of that. There's a bit of that required in the IPL, but he's just trying to smack every ball for six. So he's got a
Yeah,
very, very simple game for
yeah.
T20. I try and hit everything for six.
I saw KP when and interviewed him for his KP the Switch program, and his aim is to be the first cricketer to hit 200 in a T20 match. I mean, that's going some, isn't it? If you're a senior pro, right, in that dressing room, what do you say to him? Do you try and teach him about life? Do you try and teach him about the game? Do you say anything? Do you learn from him? I mean, what do they do? It's quite a difficult situation because it doesn't look like it comes along every 5 minutes, right? It's all it's we said at the top, it's a generational talent that is going to confuse everybody.
There'll be certain aspects of it, I think, because he's having such success, and that you'd be you would go speak to him. His bat swing, and that's so important with your batting, your swing is incredible. And so it'd be almost like, okay, what do you aim to do? So you definitely can learn from him. When someone comes along who's having that much success, because like I said, I think he's been coached since the age of six to be 6 or 8 to do what he's doing now. So
Mm.
he's worked hard and that side of it. So and then almost, if the ball lands there, what you're hitting it in a completely different area to what I think I would hit. What leads you to do that? And so that's the sort of questions. But coaching wise, whilst he's doing it that way, you don't want to clutter that brain. It's just facilitating and keep giving him that confidence because he's having incredible success, and it's as if he dips off, that's when potentially you step in. But for the whole time, I imagine he's thinking is uber clear. What he's trying to do.
Yeah, see
It's
the ball,
quite
smash it
incredible.
about.
Yeah, I think he's also, this is a fact check that needs to happen. But again, I think we were talking about this at the Lions and someone brought it up. I think in those 30, whatever, nearly 40 innings, I think he's hit about 160 plus sixes. He's averaging nearly 5 sixes an innings. So it's it's pretty astounding. So for now, let him go, like let him go, and probably learn from him what he's doing. And if people come up with a way of bowling to him that he's finding difficulty, that's when you'd potentially, I imagine, a coach would sidle up and say, well, we need to come up with a plan to combat this.
Who's the best teenager you played with or against?
Teenage Was Cookie still a teenager when he made his? I probably imagine Cookie was still a teenager when he made his 100 on debut.
You're right, okay. Cookie though.
Yeah, it's probably him or Sam Northeast. Played. He was a teenager when he played with us at Kent. So
One of those two. What do you reckon success looks like for him in 5 years' time? Think it's in the India tests, or do you think it's just hitting a 200 off in a T20 match?
well, yeah, he's stated that's a goal for him.
Yeah,
So that has to be a good luck. I wouldn't want to be the team that's playing him, but
yeah, exactly.
I think as well. I think he'd want to challenge himself outside of just the IPL, just the T20 stuff. I think his success is him potentially embedding himself in all formats for India. I would say, being that traditional at heart and wanting to see him play Test cricket and how he'd go about it. So yeah, I think success would be him expanding himself outside the IPL.
Yeah, a lot of the other people have had, that level of fame, the Sachins, the Warnes of the world. They've had it later on in life. And I think used to tell a story of Sachin had a red Ferrari and could only drive it around the streets of Mumbai at 2 o'clock in the morning, and even then, everybody knew it was him. Ravinder Silva had a Ferrari as well in Colombo. I remember seeing it in his garage. do you think it's actually a bit of a curse? He's 15 years old. It's actually a serious point. He's 15 years old, and his life has his life finished, or is it just starting? Because it's starting on the pitch clearly, but is it finished off the pitch?
Crikey, mate, that's wow. I
Proving
hope
I can
not
ask
for him.
sensible questions occasionally.
Well, that's pretty. Yeah, I hope not. Do you hope not? I hope he gets a chance to to like I say, go outside of India, tour the world, and see what that has to offer. Because that's what this pla- success will have given him. It's the the chance to go to these other countries because he's still only a young lad, and so there's a big world out there for him. So yeah, definitely not the end. That is for sure.
Well, let's see. Wish him all the best. Obviously, he's a superstar talent, and to do what he does, do what he does at 30, let alone 15, is something else. Good stuff, mate. Good to see you again. I will see you soon.
Cheers, Sanj.